Guten Tag, meine Freunde. Welcome to Offside and on Tap with me, Tricky. Premier League prediction show where you can share a beautiful cold beer with myself. Although it is getting quite cold, so soon might be having a little drop of whiskey just to warm the old cockles up. That will be coming soon. I hope you're all well. We're talking football very, very soon, but Offside and on Tap as ever. I will introduce you to the beer this week. So I've gone for KROMBACHER. KROMBACHER, lovely bottle here, 660ml, German pilsner from the town of Krombach. Actually, story behind KROMBACHER. I used to work in sunny Stoke-On-Trent, and it would be wholly inadequate of me not to introduce this beer at some point in these videos. The reason I say wholly inadequate is name of the pub near to work where I used to work. Used to go and have a pint of this after work on a Saturday with a good friend and my boss Paul, and also Jake, previous manager there, my friend, a good friend as well, very good friend. Used to have a nice KROMBACHER, pint of KROMBACHER. Got a lovely fireplace in the winter that they put the wood into and burn the wood, and it smells lovely, keeps you warm. Absolutely fantastic pub as well, lots of nice drinks in there, and good clientele as well. No roughnecks, they shut them straight out, so that's great. Surprised they haven't shut me out. So yeah, KROMBACHER, a little bit about it, 4.8% pilsner. They pride themselves on using their own local spring water to give it an original taste. And yeah, that's it. KROMBACHER, beer of the week. Have a quick drink. Cheers to all, whatever you're drinking. Right, so let's get into it. What happened in last week's games? Exciting again, isn't it? You know, it's very, very unpredictable. 1-0 to the Arsenal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Did it again. Eze haunted his old employers with a goal. I don't like the fact that he didn't celebrate. I do hate that sort of stigma around ex-players and of clubs not celebrating against their old team. I think, you know, you've not killed anybody. You've scored a goal. You've done a job for your current employer. Your current fans will want to celebrate. So why can't you? I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Everyone should just grow a pair. Just celebrate. You're not a player for long. Careers are short. Go and enjoy yourself. Embrace it. 4-point gap established at the top by Arsenal, but it's not to who you think. It's second place, Bournemouth. Bournemouth absolutely flying once again. Comfortable win against Nottingham Forest. Took advantage of their troubles and made sure there was no new manager bounce. Sean Dyche put them to the sword. Comfortable 2-0 win. They keep piling on the points and they're up there. And they keep fighting. Manchester City and Liverpool further down the table. Both had hugely unsatisfying away visits. Manchester City losing at Aston Villa, Liverpool losing at Brentford. Haaland with a rare blank. First time he's not scored in a dozen games, I think. And even a Salah stunner wasn't enough to vacuum any points from the G-Tech Stadium either. So despite that, Man United, 3 Premier League wins in a row, having gone 18 months without a consecutive Premier League win. They've gone 3 in a row now with an attacking masterclass at home to Brighton. Really impressive. 2 more wins in succession. And Man United fan Frank Elliott, who I don't know if some of you might know, he's been growing his hair, saying he won't cut it until they win 5 games in a row. Got an afro. He's got a whole year without a haircut currently. So hopefully he can get his haircut soon. I couldn't imagine that. This is only a month and this is long for me. Down the bottom, the 2 W's, both fighting to see who's going to be bottom. Beginning to get cut off from the rest of the pack. West Ham and Wolves, once again, unsuccessful games for them. So that was last week's sort of summary. The results from the predictions, of course, we need to know those. So myself, Tricky, 9 points. Actually, another good week for me. 5 correct results, 2 perfect scores. They were in the Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest game, and also away the lads. Newcastle, last minute winner, Bruno. 2-1 win against Fulham. Only one commenter this week, Righty. Thanks, Righty, mate, for putting your predictions in. 6 points, 4 results were good, and one perfect score. That was also Newcastle form, fellow Newcastle fan. Well done, righty. We'll have some more commenters in the next episode. For this episode, I'm going to put something out there. I'm going to say the highest individual week scorer at the end of the season. So if you get, for example, you've got 20 points one week, which would be absolutely incredible for starts. But I'm going to put some merchandise, some offside and on tap merchandise on the line. So get your scores in, see if you win something from me, and see if you can beat me first of all. That'd be fantastic. Right, let's get into week 10. Game week 10 predictions with me, Tricky. So featured games this week, starting with Burnley versus Arsenal. Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Burnley doing what's necessary, beating all the teams around them in the league, what they're expecting, bottom half teams, beating the other promoted teams, doing it really well, and it's put them in a really good spot to start the season. The players are playing with absolute passion, dedication, 110% effort every game, just like the manager used to when he was a player for Newcastle, for Chelsea, Charlton, all the teams he played for. 110% effort. You can tell they're following the manager's passion, and they're doing it on the pitch themselves. Really respect the manager. Unlike some managers, Scott Parker, he will adapt his team depending on the opposition that they're playing against. So if they're playing against the top team, they'll soak up the game, they'll go 4-5-1, low block, trying to hold on to points. Obviously they've lost last minute draws with Man United and Liverpool this season, unlucky in those games, some daft mistakes late on. But they've got points against other teams around them. They beat Sunderland, who Sunderland had a great season so far, and they lost to Burnley. So yeah, he's adaptable, unlike a lot of managers. In against more teams on a similar level, he'll go 4-2-3-1, let players at the top do some fantastic things. Really like Jadon Anthony in midfield. It's a really class player, left winger. He can play up front as well. Scored 4 goals and 1 assist already this season. He's been a key player for Burnley. Really like him. Never heard of him before this season, if I'm honest. I think he's only 25, 26 years old. Really good English player. Arsenal, they beat a really good attacking team in Crystal Palace, and that was a measurement of where Arsenal are right now. To win 2-0 against Crystal Palace, who've been scoring goals in most of the games, was a really big thing. Paul Scholes said on another podcast that he didn't think there was a standout team so far in the Premier League that would be obvious title contenders. I think you're absolutely wrong. I think this Arsenal team currently are well above everyone else levels wise. Beat Newcastle against the they played really well in the second half, but you wouldn't expect them to. Newcastle maybe to get at least the draw, but they came back and won it late, and then obviously performance that they've put in other games since then has been outstanding. They've come onto the front foot and they've come out and played. And this game, Crystal Palace, the win. I know it was at home, but it's a really impressive win. So yeah, I disagree, Paul Scholes. They've got a fair share of injuries, but doesn't seem to stop them in the tracks. They're still playing on and playing really well. Saliba got injured at the weekend. Mosquera comes in, fits in like a glove. Absolutely class. 11 out of 16 goals have scored from set pieces. So yeah, everyone fears when the ball's going to be fizzed into the box that there's going to be danger. Burnley will play the low block against Arsenal. They will play 4-5-1, pretty sure of that. So it may be another set piece goal required to break through Burnley resistance. Kind of back. The last 15-minute winner from a set piece, probably a corner. Certainly could be a free kick. But I think it's going to be another 1-0 to the Arsenal. Okay, next up we've got Fulham versus Wolves. What a tale of woe we've got here, both these teams. Fulham have lost the last 4 Premier League games. Wolves, 9 games in, once again yet to win a game. They're trying to outdo last season. They got 3 points after 10 games last season. They're currently on 2. So they're well on the way to doing worse than they did last season. They survived ultimately, but I really don't think they can afford to do that again this season. There's teams, other promoted teams are doing really well. All 3 of them are up above them, well away. Nottingham Forest yesterday in the bottom 3, but eventually I feel Nuno will get... Sorry, not Nuno. He's well gone. I think Sean Dyche will set them down and he'll get them back up the table. Too many good players to do that. So Wolves, I really fear for you. And then you've obviously got the situation where the manager's falling out with fans after the Burnley game. Strang Larson having a fight. I don't like to see that. Just get down the tunnel. Do your job. Your job isn't to argue with the fans. Don't like to see that. and yeah, just get on with it. Fulham, do like to see them play, but some neat build-up play, but lots of effort with no real end result. They've actually had 5 less shots on target than Wolves this season, so they're not creating enough at the top end of the pitch. Nice little passing, but it's not the way to do it this season in the Premier League. We've seen that. Got to do something different. No ticky-tacky football. Wolves' record versus Fulham is really strong in the Premier League, actually, which may be a good sign for them. They've won 8, drawn 6, lost 4 against Fulham in the Premier League, and did make the mistake of backing Tottenham versus Wolves in the meeting there, and that's despite the form and the head-to-heads. This time, I think I'm gonna go with Wolves a little bit more. Again, I'm gonna back them again. I've backed them 3 or 4 times, and they've failed every time. So eventually, it's gonna happen in the league for them. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a risque Wolves away win, 2-1 to Wolves. Okay, we've got London Derby. We've got Spurs versus Chelsea, Saturday, tea time, 5:30 kick-off. Spurs handed Everton the first defeat at the new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They got 3 headed goals, which is very, very rare, especially for Spurs the way they play. We outplayed them without creating too many clear-cut chances. Do we have to seriously take Tottenham for the title? I think we have to, really, where they are in 3rd place. Despite a couple of effy performances at home to Bournemouth and obviously to Wolves, I mentioned before, they've actually competed in every game. Really, really good. And João Palhinha has made the difference. I think he's the key signing from the summer for Spurs. Solidifies the midfield. He pins everything together. Everything's played through him. He's the pivot in there. But he also gets forward and creates chances, and he's always an attacking option when the ball's further up the pitch as well. Proper engine on him. Really rated him previously in the Premier League when he was at Fulham, I believe he was at Fulham. And I'm surprised that Bayern Munich let him go. Really am. Vicario playing well in goals, solid in goals, and Dancer's come in for the injured Romero. He looks like a leader as well, very vocal. You've seen him play on the pitch and organising the team, very, very good. Chelsea, my word, killed me. It absolutely killed me at the weekend for 2 reasons. First reason is that you let Sunderland win and they went to 2nd, and you'd got the Sunderland fans chirping again, hadn't you? When we're going to win the league, Champions League, so you really let me down there, given the ability to chirp. But the second reason was for trickish treble. So I had Chelsea, I had Man United, Newcastle. Man United, Newcastle did their bit, but you let me down. So we didn't win any money on trickish treble. You went ahead early, Chelsea. And then dominated the game, absolutely dominated the game, possession and all that, but you let them in late in the game. 2 goals. Again, sloppy defence, passing the ball and getting cut out in an area where you're going to then get counter-attacked. And that's what happened. Lack of game management from the team, but again, that's got to come from the manager a little bit. Got to recognise what's going on, make changes and put some experience in there, or whatever needs to happen. Just don't lose the game. Spurs have only won 1 from 13 of the last games against Chelsea in the Premier League. So I mentioned before about head-to-heads and backing the head-to-heads, but with this I just feel Spurs players a little bit better off at the moment, a little bit more know-how. And Chelsea are missing Palmer. I'm filming this Wednesday night and they've just had Liam Delap sent off after coming back from injury, so they're running short on strikes again, and João Pedro's not firing. So I'm gonna go for Spurs. I'm gonna win. Spurs are gonna win, and I'm gonna go for 3-1 Tottenham Hotspur. A little drink. KROMBACHER. Right, Liverpool versus Aston Villa, Saturday, 8 o'clock kick-off. 2 sides with very different streaks. One on a really good streak, being Aston Villa, 4 in a row, and Liverpool on the opposite of that, lost 4 in a row. Arne Slot taking aim at teams for playing long ball tactics. Why admit that your team is getting outplayed in that manner? It's pretty obvious it's happening anyway, but then to go and say it in front of the press, really strange one. Brentford played really well against Liverpool, executed throw-ins, long balls perfectly, scored from a throw-in. It's absolutely lethal, Cody's throw-ins, and teams are starting to follow suit, especially against the big teams, Liverpool, Man City, etc. they're doing it, and they're doing it really well. But if it's an effective way of scoring goals, then teams are going to do it. So Arnie Slot's saying, well, whatever, I don't like the way it's going on. Teams are going to do it. Teams are going to do it. If they're going to stay in the Premier League because of it and the way they're doing it, I cannot fault them. Van Dijk and Konate, you're supposed to be world-class centre-backs, but you're being made to look ordinary. And think about it, in 20 years ago, 25 years ago, crosses into the box would have been all the time, long balls into the box would have been all the time. How would you have got on then against the likes of Kevin Davies and Alan Shearer, Didier Drogba, strong strikers? You get away with it too easily. Modern centre-backs, they don't have that. They have one striker, generally don't get really pressed by them. There's VAR in the favour, there's none of the arms from Shearer or anything like that, so you get away with it. So Aston Villa, they are much more of a team that likes to penetrate through the midfield and the defence with neat passing rather than a physical team or pumping the ball long, a lot of neat, and it's more favourable to Liverpool perhaps that, because Liverpool can sweep that up pretty comfortably, I'd imagine. They are struggling in all ways, as I say. Put Liverpool back in their comfort zone a little bit. Conser and Torres, they absolutely shackled Haaland in that game, and I thought they were in for torrid time, but they did a real number on him. Kept him quiet, didn't score a goal. They got a Nana in front, physical, big, strong guy, also blocking the passes into his feet, which was really good, really effective. I've got an argument that Conser might well be the best English centre-back that we've got at the moment, with only Gay, Stones obviously, but I really think he's a real deal. Aston Villa are really lucky to have him in there. Villa only won 1 of 15 Premier League meetings with Liverpool, and that was a game where they won 7-2 in the season that Liverpool won the league. So 7-2, shocker. I remember that well. Ultimately, I think it's a more friendly opposition, Liverpool, and they're at home. So I feel like they're going to come back at some point. It has to be very soon. I'm going to go Liverpool to win 2-1 at the Anfield Library. Next up, Sunderland versus Everton, and it's a Monday night kick-off, 8 o'clock, Monday night football. Okay, so Mackems, I've been saying it, you haven't played anyone good yet. You've played someone good. You played Chelsea and you won. Fair play, hands up, well done. You got the result. Took advantage of more poor Chelsea play. Backline, school playground football. I used to give the ball away at the school playground, constantly just trying to do kick-ups in my own box and fooling around. Not quite as bad as that, but they aren't really good at the back, Chelsea. They give the ball away so deep in their own half, and it just gives teams a chance to counter and to score, capitalise. But yeah, back into Sunderland anyway. So they took advantage of that. They spent £150 million on 14 players. And I've got to be honest, I was pretty, other than the fact they signed Xhaka, who was really impressive signing, I thought the rest of the team, who are they? Who are these players? But they got them all in early, they gelled the team together, and got them in early season set up, and they got results, and they have got some little diamonds in there. Isidore, Royce and goals. Ballard was already in the team but wasn't playing for them last season, but they've brought him into the team at the back, and he's a beast, absolute beast of a player. So yeah, Joe Bellingham, who as well, don't read him. The funds we use towards new players, they've done well with that, but they've got harder times ahead with the African nations coming, and ultimately you get the natural season fatigue, and teams coming up tend to find that the second half of the season is a little bit more of a struggle. Everton, so a couple of setbacks recently, 2 defeats in the league in a row, and now they have lost that unbeaten record at home as well in the new stadium. They haven't got a real quality forward, and it's costing them. It really is costing them. They're averaging 1 goal a game. Beto, Barry, they're not really there, are they, for them? I can't say they can improve them, to be fair. I just don't see where that's going to come from. Midfield are carving out the chances, but there's no one to put them away. They do need to address that, I think. Otherwise, if they start conceding a few, they're ultimately going to be pulled down further to that's Nottingham Forest. If Wolves can pull fingers out and improve performances. Because of that, I find it hard to bet against Sunderland. I find it hard to bet against them. I don't like to say it, I bloody hate it. And if Sunderland do win, then yeah, they're going to be still top 4. It's really hard to say, but I have to do it. Sunderland to win 2-1 Monday Night Football. And it's that time of week. Trickies, quick pickies. So I'm just going to fire these off really quickly. Brighton versus Leeds. Going to go for Brighton to win at home 2-1. Crystal Palace versus Brentford, really interesting game. Brentford bouncing back really well from early poor start. Crystal Palace, the height at the back, will it keep Brentford's long throws, long balls into the box out? I think Brentford could be up for a couple of goals, but so are Palace. Hence going to go for a Desmond. I'm going to go for 2-2 in this game, guaranteed goals. Nottingham Forest at home to rejuvenated Manchester United. New defensive shape for Man United in the recent games. Shaw pressing into midfield, Fernandes pressing further up, pushing everyone up the pitch, and it's really, really effective, getting into the strikers, getting to the midfielders. New defensive shapes working well. Going to go for Manchester United to win 3-1, despite Sean Dyche being there. Still needs that time to get them right. Going to go for West Ham versus Newcastle. Newcastle is scoring goals for fun at the moment. Back to the best attacking football. Options off the bench every game. They're bringing them on. 20 minutes to go, and just hammering teams late on. Going to go for Newcastle to be buoyant here. Going to go for 4-0. I might have egg on my face massively, but 4-0 Newcastle. And then finally, Manchester City versus Bournemouth. I feel like it could be another basketball feel of a game for Bournemouth. They're going to go out and try and attack Manchester City. Why not? Free hit, go and hit them. Going to go for 4-3. If I get this, they're the best 3 points that I've earned on this videos and these shows, to be fair with you. So that's Tricky's Quick Pickies. Tricky's Treble. So we have a bet every week for Dementia UK. Chelsea, as I mentioned, they let me down big time, so we didn't win anything again last week, so we still just got the one win this season on Tricky's Treble. I can't see any bankers in the Premier League this week, so I'm going to do a little bit of a different bet. I'm going to go for both teams to score treble instead. So going for Crystal Palace versus Brentford, both teams to score. Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea, and Manchester City versus Bournemouth. So all teams to score. A £5 stake with Sky Bet. Returns £20.50. Half of the winnings should I win, hopefully win. £10.25 to Dementia UK. That would just more than double the pot that's currently there. So desperate to boost the pot. I really am. So that's Tricky's Treble. And that's it for another episode of Offside and on Tap. Thank you for watching the video. Please get your predictions in on the comments before 3 o'clock on Saturday. Remember, it's 1 point for a correct result, 3 points for the perfect score, and I've put a prize out there. You can have some merchandise potentially at the end of the season for the highest individual week score. I'm currently winning it, I think. I might get myself some merchandise of 9 points. If you do that, subscribe to the videos if you are enjoying them. I've got a short out from Monday, so 20 players from the 20 different clubs to build your perfect Premier League matchday squad. Mine is up on my shorts. Put a comment in, see what you changed, what would you do differently. Put your own team out there. Take you 5-10 minutes to do, as it did me. But that's on there. That's from Monday. That's just gone. And have a great rest of the week. I hope you have a splendid week, whatever you're up to. If you're working, if you're off for half term, good luck to you and to your club. Everyone, enjoy. Cheers.